YouTubers, Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. I got a really good email I want to cover for you guys, and let's take a look. I have been following your YouTube channel for probably a year already. Thank you for all your effort trying to inform people of our current crisis situation. I'm in my mid-30s, Chinese Canadian, definitely a Canadian proper as you defined. Both my husband and I work very hard as engineers, earn well above the average BC salary, pay significant amount of taxes, and donate money and time to our community. We have been doing well with savings and moderate investment. We do not overspend, but spend on things that make us and our 2 children happy. 2 very considerate, behaved kids who always tell me they don't need big houses and expensive things. Books make them happy. I came across this article this morning, which is right here. Where was I? They did a so-called poll without providing the main reason as a choice, monetary policy. All the poll choices are side effects of low interest rates of the past 10 years. Without borrowing costs, with borrowing costs close to zero and extremely low property tax, any investors would pour their money in our market. I feel that most locals have been misled, and blaming foreigners/immigrants is always the easiest. Whom are we going to blame when the bubble bursts? Yeah, it's the Great Canadian Blame Game. Remember that, guys? Mike, I am very much Canadian and have been doing my best to be a good law-abiding citizen, but with an Oriental face, my children and I will forever be considered as foreigners who disrupts our society. That's my biggest fear living here. I love this country, but would white Canadians ever consider us a part of the country? I have encountered several discriminating incidences. Maybe they were minor with small verbal attacks, but they really made me feel scared, disappointed, and sad. It doesn't help when the media brainwashes people with this kind of idea, and there's always some bad apples that end up representing the entire Chinese immigrants. I know that most white Canadians are annoyed of non-white immigrants invading the city, but non-whites are also scared of not fitting in and being discriminated. I guess that's just our social issue being a multicultural society. Back to my main point. I just wish the media doesn't make the race division worse than it already is. Find the root cause of the housing crisis from our international system instead of blaming everyone else. After all, our government has the most control and can make any policy to benefit themselves. Not foreign investors, not money laundering, not immigrants, no limited lands. These are only exist when our government allows them to happen because they want a pretty looking GDP. We discussed that, by the way, guys, in the other show. We all give too much attention to real estate, stretching our financial limits to max in order to own, cutting down our daily expenses in order to own, spending 3 to 4 hours in traffic in order to own. Lots of things should be more important than housing, but the evilness of money is making us greedy, full of resentment and misunderstanding the true value of fulfilling life. Anyways, I'm just sharing my thoughts. Keep up your great work and don't get discouraged by haters and comments. Best wishes to you and your family. Kind regards, Y. Okay, so this is the article she's talking about. So on this graph right here, it does not have the record low interest rates, historical low interest rates for the longest time on here. And she's right, or he's right. I'm not sure, but I think she's right. It doesn't show that here because that is one of the main reasons why that's what mainly fueled the bubble. So it's mainly, to me, a lot of the baby boomers did take out second mortgages and equity in their homes or HELOCs or whatever you want to call them to buy second and third properties while the market was hot. Okay, a lot of them are crying the blues now because they're worth less than what they bought them for. So, to be very frank with you guys, it is scary at times when you read, sorry, that's another article for another day. When you read articles like this, You just type in Canada wants more Chinese. That comes up on its own. Look at this. So this is scary. So as a Canadian, when you see this, yeah, Canada's built off immigration, but when Canada's openly admitting that they want more rich tourists and rich people to come to the country as opposed to people to come and build a life, and bringing in 500,000 per year, it does get scary when you see something like that. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was my own people, like Canada wants more 500,000 Portuguese per year, I would say, why? You know what I'm saying? So it scares people that Canada is in the business to find rich immigrants. So is Australia and so is New Zealand. They've been in that. See, it says right here, trying to make it easier for Chinese tourist students, temporary workers, and visas to come to Canada. But the overhousing crisis, and they want to, they see it as a lucrative business to bring money, fast tracking people, giving them citizenship so they can bring their wealth in. And then there's this whole birth tourism thing that's going on. I'm not going to open an article on that. There's this whole birth tourism thing going on where a lot of, this is on record, and I'm not making this up, that a lot of women from the Chinese culture, or from China, are waiting to have a child to get immediate citizenship on the spot. And you know, and it's a really tough nut to crack when you see, I'm from the Portuguese culture, and we're really not welcome in Canada. There's no immigration from Portugal to come into Canada, even though there's a lot of Portuguese in Ontario. Thousands of us were deported, and if a Portuguese woman had a baby here, she would have to go back to Portugal, and she would have to pay for the operation. She wouldn't get no birth tourism because she's from Portugal. Because there's different. So me being from my culture and seeing that my culture isn't allowed to do any of that here, but is Canada still worth it like it was? It doesn't really hurt me that much, but like whatever. I'll go back to Portugal if I have to. I don't care. Portugal's nice, but anyways. Let me get to my point. When you start seeing articles like that, it starts scaring us. It starts scaring people, wondering, are our futures being sold out to the highest bidders? Because bringing in wealthy Chinese immigrants is a very lucrative business for a country. And it brings up their GDP. Those people that are coming in to invest and buy up 40 homes and leave them empty, those are not Canadian proper. They're not here to live and actually build a future for themselves and their families. It's more about making the money, right? And then you got money laundering, you got all kinds of crap that's going on. But I want to know from you guys in the comments below. Is it foreign home buyers? Is it overall population growth? Is it shadow flipping? Is it money laundering? Is it city municipal zoning bylaws? Is it immigration? Is it lack of available land? Is it interprovincial migration? Is it agricultural land reserve? So, interprovincial migration is a good one. Can I show you why? You go to Douglas Todd's article. I want to keep bringing up. So I bring this up because it's very important. Aboriginals and whites leaving Metro Vancouver. So this is intermigration. So the white people are bringing a problem now because they can't afford to live in Vancouver. That's how many whites left and how many Indigenous people in 2016. 2017 numbers, they're saying it's close to 17,000 whites and 1,090 Aboriginals in 2017 have left Metro for other parts of the province. Now, this brought on a huge stress problem to Kelowna, to Kamloops, and now the houses up there started to soar because of intermigration. See, Kamloops and Kelowna's problem, for me, is intermigration. All these Canadian people leaving the coast and moving into Kamloops and Kelowna. That's the reason why those are having those cities, I would say, is intermigration, but not Vancouver. So I want to know now. Take all these that I said, okay, And we're going to add low interest rates, blowing the hot air into the market with record low, historical low interest rates for many years. And that is one of the main problems. That is the main problem. And the government will never put that in a graph or in a... You know why? Because you go back to this article. 1 in 10 Canadians that bought real estate in 2017 borrowed over $600,000. So there's a lot of people buying over their own limits. They're buying over their limits. So, who do you blame? What do you blame? I see a lot of criminality going on in gangs and moving money out of the country, out of their country, to park it somewhere else. I see a lot of shadow flipping. I see a lot of backdoor deals. I see a lot of shady crap going on. And the banks allowing crap to happen. No questions, no ask policy. Someone brings in a suitcase full of money. No questions, no ask policy. I bring a suitcase to a bank. The police are there in 20 minutes, right? That's just how it works. That's just how, you know. So, I really want to know what you guys think. Honestly. I think it's just a mess of everything. Lack lending practices. Lack poor airport security. Poor government decisions. Record low rates for the longest time. Bringing in too much over-immigration. And not allowing the people living here to... Why do you think all the Latinos voted for Donald Trump? Because the Latinos that became legal and went on payroll were losing their job to other illegals that were coming in. A lot of people don't know that. Why Trump won the Latino vote. Because the Latinos were losing their job to illegal immigrants. It's cheaper to hire someone illegal than someone on the books, right? So thanks for the email. I would like to know, you know, what you guys think. Yeah, I'd like to know. It's a very touchy subject, but are the Chinese to blame for this? You know, you can't blame the whole culture. I mean, it's not all the Chinese, you know. A few girlfriends ago, my girlfriend, two girlfriends ago, she was Chinese from mainland China. She barely spoke English, but she had a house and she lived in it. She had her own house. She wasn't off somewhere else. She went to work every day, right? So, I mean, and then there was another girl from Chinese from Hong Kong, but again, she had her own place too. She had her own thing, you know. You know, it's I think a lot of people are putting the wrong face. They're connecting the wrong dots, and I think it's the competition, in my opinion. It's the competition for rich investors in Canada in that article, competing for wealthy investors to come in, $500,000 a year. I think that's the problem right there. And I don't think Canada has the infrastructure to support that, and buying out everybody else in the meantime and not giving someone else's kids a future is not fair. Especially if my parents contributed to the infrastructure all their lives to build and make the country what it is today. And then I'm not allowed to use that infrastructure because I just don't make enough money because I was born and raised here. Comment below, let me know.